welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to A Life Well Spent. My name is Kelly, and on this channel, I'm documenting my financial journey. So from debt payoff to home ownership to saving and investing for the future to budgeting, all of the things. I am hoping to hold myself accountable on this channel. If you are not new here and you've been here before, then you know it has been a while. I've taken a bit of a hiatus, probably a year or two. I'm not sure exactly how long. But life got in the way. I got to doing some other things and just it kind of made things complicated to try to do videos. I still kept a budget. I still reconciled. I was not so great with my weekly transactions. And when I kind of did a year in review wrap up for myself for 2023, I looked at my spending and I feel like I really overspent in the year. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I wasn't doing like a weekly transaction video where I was making myself accountable to my spending and to keeping my spending current. I know when I was doing those videos, I would notice that like if I was getting to the point where I was getting very close to the edge of my grocery budget, like 2 weeks into the month, let's say, and then I would, kind of make a conscious effort to like cut back on grocery spending and maybe make sure that I'm eating up something in my fridge or my freezer instead of going out and buying something new, because I knew I was really getting close to the limit of my budget that I wanted to stay within. And when I stopped doing a weekly transactions video, I stopped worrying about even recording them weekly. So it might be like 3 weeks in, and I at that point like had already blown some of the budget areas, and I feel like it just kept me more accountable to do the videos. So I've decided in 2024 I'm going to bring them back, and hopefully that will get my spending back on track. So I have a couple of videos that I'm going to film about kind of like my 2023 year wrap up, my goals for 2024, what I'm expecting to spend in 2024, things like that. I might even try to do like a no or low spend month. I'm not entirely sold on those in general, because I feel like if you're buying all like stuff in one month, so you don't need to buy it in the second month, like you're still spending the money. But I also think that it probably helps cut your spending down. So even if you don't do a full low spend a month, it probably helps you not spend money in places where you don't really need to be spending it. So we'll see. I do know I do want to kind of do a no spend year for certain items. And I'll do a video about that. But yeah, if that sounds like something that you want to be a part of, like subscribe, join. Hopefully there'll be a video at least one a week. I'm hoping that there's at least going to be a transaction video once a week. And it's going to be an interesting journey. You all can yell at me if I make dumb financial choices. Don't yell at me. That's not nice to yell at people on the internet. I know it's frustrating. But today's video is actually going to be well, I guess it's more of an announcement video than anything that like, hey, I'm back. And we're going to talk a little bit about plans. I have a debt payoff update to share, which is really exciting. I'm thrilled about that one. But that will actually maybe be my next video. I might do that. That's probably the most fun information out there. So if you want to join me on this journey, I'd love to have you. So without further ado, you'll notice I have changed because I filmed that last video kind of before I went to work and then didn't have time to finish it that day. So this is another day finishing the video. This is January's budget. So for those of you who've been here before, you'll notice that my budget looks a little different. I did some kind of rearranging. I'm trying to learn more about spreadsheets. I mean, I feel like I can do like basic functions, but they're so much more powerful than I ever gave credit for. So, and I just don't really know enough about it. And I want to learn more because I see people with these like really fancy looking budgets. And on the one hand, I'm like, I could spend 20 bucks on that. That's not really all that much. That's okay. And on the other hand, I think, but I can make that. Then I would learn something. And I'm a nerd, so I always want to learn things. Okay. So without further ado, this is going to be my January budget. So this particular, mind all the tabs at the bottom because I'm still looking at things. I actually started doing transactions and stuff. So in future videos, I'll show something more like this that actually will show me um information. You'll see like kind of the whole thing, but because it is January 15th, I'm not on top of things quite the way I could be. So anyway, my budgeted income, that is $3,600. It's a little bit more than that, but when raises come in and taxes change, like things get wonky, and so I just kind of have left it the same. And we'll adjust from there when my raise comes around. My mom will be giving me $105. That is to pay for a number of things. We put $50 each into a brokerage account for my niece. We the cell phone plan is in my name, so she pays me for her part of that. And we kind of split some of our subscription services because they can be multi-household, so she pays me for that portion as well. Of what's in my account, basically, of what's in my name, basically. So she pays for the Amazon Prime. We sort of deduct that out of the total. So that's what it is for now. We're actually looking at cutting some of the subscriptions. We've cut some already, and we're likely going to cut more because I I don't feel like it's a ton of money, but I also don't feel like I really use it. So it doesn't need to spend, I don't need to spend money that I don't then use. So total income, $3,705.00. I'm not really expecting any extra income at this point. Next month, I'll probably get my tax return back. I'm not sure how quickly that'll come back to me. I know I have to go out of town for work next month, and I'll get reimbursement and stuff like that for that. So next month I'll have a lot in that column. Although typically I don't try to budget for it because it's reimbursement paid back to me. So it's not like it's extra money coming to me. Mortgage, my mortgage is currently $688.77. That is the mortgage payment, interest, taxes, and insurance all escrowed in, plus it includes PMI, which, victory for me, will be dropping off soon. I have to find out exactly what I need to do to get, or what, I shouldn't say find out. I know what, I just need to decide what I'm going to do. Apparently it will kind of just drop off on its own in November, but with my payment in January, with my mortgage payment, I have met the threshold. Only I would have to pay for an appraiser to come in. So the cost of the appraiser, depending on what kind of cost I can get, isn't really that much different from the cost of the PMI. So to me, it's sort of six one way, half dozen the other. So I don't know that it's really worth trying to bother with like scheduling and going through all that process and, cleaning up my house because there's gonna be somebody walking around in it. Considering it's really not going to save me any money, right? If it's going to cost me $500 in PMI in the year and $500 to get the appraisal to drop the PMI, I'm still out $500. So I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with that. My electric bill this month is $58.28. That's not bad considering Christmas lights and whatnot. Natural gas, $125.99. That's a little bit lower than last year because it's been warmer, which, I mean, I don't like. I love winter and I love the cold, so oh well. Sewer, $63. That has not changed in a while. Water, $18.98. Internet is $65. Cell phone, I budgeted about $50. My mother and I have sort of changed up what we're doing. We do pay, like, it's a by the gig data, but there's like a 3 data plan or a 3 gig plan that's like 3 gigs for $10, or you do like single gigs for $12. So I'm gonna kind of see now that COVID's over, my mom's out and about a little bit more. And so she's using more data. Like, she wasn't using any data at all. Like, at all. I guess maybe like whatever background data happens when you drive somewhere or something. I don't even know, but like very minimal. Because she was going to work and she was going home to take care of my dad. And since my dad has passed, that's a big, actually, part of the reason why we stopped doing videos. He was not doing well, and then he passed. It'll be 2 years in September. So was that 15 months ago? Um, so yeah, it sucks, but it's also life. Um, God, that sounds really cavalier. I don't mean for it to sound very cavalier, but it is just yeah, it sucks. There's nothing else to it. It sucks. Groceries I budgeted about $300. Life insurance $7.50. That hasn't really changed. Gas I budgeted $200, which is a little bit more than I think I've been spending, but I am hopeful that this cold weather will hold and I will get to go skiing. And the closest ski resort is like an hour and a half away, so that's a lot of gas in the end. Mom stuff, there's nothing this is really kind of a budget item that I use just for the things I end up having to buy my mother. Like, I don't really budget for it necessarily, but I leave it as a line item so that I know when I track my expenses that it pops up there and I know how much she owes me. Like the other day, she really wanted some bread flour from Sam's, and I got said bread flour while I was at Sam's. So when I put that in my transactions, it'll show up in there how much she owes me. And we do that because otherwise we just will not keep track of it. $100 goes into my niece's brokerage account. Again, that's 50 out of me, 50 from my mother. House and garden, I put at 25. There's not really a ton I need to buy for my house right now, so that's handy. Restaurant, 75. I'm really trying to keep this under control, which is very hard because the cost of food is insane and the cost of restaurants is even more insane. Fitness, I put in $50. It covers the cost of my gym membership, and then there's a little bit left over all the time, and so I'm honestly considering making this like a fund instead, so that like leftover money saves up. So I didn't make any changes for the budget this year. I thought about just like making it the actual fee of the Y itself, but I'm thinking of like just kind of keeping that stuff carried over so that like if I need a new pair of shorts to work out in or something like that, I can include it there. Personal $50, miscellaneous $100. I probably could knock that down to 50, but I feel like I'm constantly dealing with things that pop up and go under miscellaneous. And $500 to my Roth IRA. Now, I'm hopeful that I will be able to max out my Roth IRA again. The problem, if you do the math there, 500 times 12 does not equal the $7,000 limit. I'm not entirely sure what exactly I want to do with my Roth IRA. I'm thinking I want to invest future investment dollars into something different within my Roth IRA. So it's kind of like an automated thing to purchase a specific target date index fund right now. And I think I'm going to change some of that allocation. And when I do that, I'll probably change the payment to reflect 7,000 divided by 12. That was one thought I had. The other thought I had was to take some of a tax return, which I keep trying not to have a tax return or a tax refund, but whatever. Either that or one of my 3 pay months, take some of that money, and a lot. That's what I did this past year because I didn't even realize that the limits went up to 6,500. So December was a 3 pay month for me. And so I just took that extra pay and pulled $500 into there. So total expenses, $2,477.52. That seems obnoxiously like a lot. And I kind of have to remind myself that like, okay, $600 of that is actually savings. So that doesn't seem too terrible, but it still seems like a lot, right? Like $2,000 or $1,800 for a person to just live from day to day. Savings items, I'm looking to actually, one of my goals this year is to put more money in my emergency fund. But I also want to make sure I'm topping up some of my sinking funds at least in the beginning of the year. So subscriptions right now, it's about $155 a month that I've got to do. And that's up from last year, but last year's I don't think was very accurate because there were as things renewed, I was like, oh yeah, I have that. Oh yeah, I have that too. And I have to say, like, some of that is, my mother is paying me towards that. So that some of that is my mother's money, I should say. Um, so my amount that comes out of my pocket is the same. Um, I've just included hers in there. And the things I forgot about with like I use OnePass, I use a NordVPN, I use no, I use NordPass, not OnePass. Same thing, different company. I have like cameras at my house. I have a number of different like household level subscription things. It's not just like streaming services. I use Carbonite to back up my computers. So things of that nature that like, they don't come by often. Like Carbonite, I think I do 3 years at a time, but like when it comes due, I'm like, oh boo, there's a big amount. So house repair, $200. I've put more money in my house repair fund because there are some house projects I want to do that are going to cost me money. Nothing in garbage. It's not a garbage month, although that fund itself, I'm actually going to drain it next month. Finally, hallelujah. Because I think I have a bill to pay in February and that will cover most of it. And I will probably just put the rest in, I'll just fold it over into the cushion fund or something. And then moving forward, I will just pay it quarterly. I changed my garbage people. The former garbage people let me pay like a year in advance, but they were super jacking up their prices. And so I kind of started looking around and I found a better deal. But I couldn't pay for it. I couldn't pay for the whole year. I had to pay quarterly. Not a big deal. But what it meant was that I had this like pocket of money that I was ready to pay a full year bill with. And instead I was just paying out quarterly. So I was just kind of using it. And then what I might honestly do moving forward is just deleting that line item. But I think that might mess everything up, so I don't necessarily want to do that. All right. Knitting Line Club, $17. You can see I've already spent some money out of here. I renew that every year in January, so that's the added 17, paid 200. Giving fund, put $50 back in there. My car insurance fund, $59. My car repair fund, $50. Gift fund, $50, because my gift fund is done for. Got to replenish that. Garden fund, $50. I usually start tucking a little bit of money away for any kind of plants or anything that I want to buy in the spring, for any kind of landscaping. And then travel, $200. And tires, which I did put new tires on, but when I got my inspection, there was a problem with my engine. It's like a plug that's like starting to leak. And so I had them give me money, or have them give me a price so that I could start saving money towards that. And I have a little bit of time, but they were kind of like, it's only going to get progressively worse. You will get to a point where like this will not pass inspection and it has to be fixed, but it's not quite there yet. So I was like, that's great. Let me just save some money up for it. So yeah, that's that. I do a zero-based budget, which means every dollar is accounted for, whether it be savings, spending, investments, what have you. So I'm there, which is fantastic. My new budget, I'm trying to do something a little bit different. I'm hoping that like all my transactions can just go in one column and then it will like budget out like month to month to month. I can see what's where. So that's the plan. Thanks so much for watching.